Okay, so here is this image that I'm going to go ahead and edit. There are a couple things that I want to give just as a little bit of feedback for when you're taking your pictures. You want to make sure that you let your products breathe a little bit, that you let them have a little bit of white space around them, because this is kind of really cropped in. So I don't know if you cropped it like this or or if you took it like this, but I would just step back a little bit or don't crop quite so close. The other thing for me that I think is a little distracting is that you have fabric on fabric, and your fabric under here is kind of wrinkly. A really inexpensive backdrop that's white is using a poster board, a white poster board, and it's nice and white and it's flat and it makes things, you don't have to worry about wrinkles from a backdrop or anything like that. And this item is small enough that you could use just a plain poster board or a white foam board from the craft section. I buy mine at Target when I'm there. They're like $3 a piece or something, so they're really inexpensive. So for this image, I don't know. It looks a little cool to me because I'm assuming that this is white. Maybe it's blue. So this might not be quite right, but I'm going to run perfect white balance on it. And my kids are playing Village, so they're a little noisy. That's what you're hearing in the background. And I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. Trying to get that more white. So you would just adjust this until these colors look true to life. This is something that's hard for me to do without having like a reference of knowing exactly what this color is or seeing this product in real life. I also suggest always shooting with a gray card to white balance your images, and I did post a video about that in the in the group. So then the other thing is it's a little dark here around the edges, and it lacks a little contrast. So we're going to run the light and bright base on it. And that's a little bit too contrasty, so we're going to pull it down just a little bit. Around, and bring it down to around like 35%. And then I'm going to play the paint off shadows, and I'm going to paint off these shadow areas of the image. I'm going to take my brush. I want my brush to be, I'm pressing D on my keyboard. That's going to reset my brush. I want to have a white brush. And then I'm just going to make sure that it's a round, soft brush. The hardness is at 0%. And I'm going to bring down the opacity to about 20%. And I'm going to paint up here and around here and around the shadowy areas of the image. And it's just going to kind of brighten up the areas that are shadowy. I'm going to brush a little bit over this too. But what I'm doing here is I'm doing this just really gradually. My brush is soft, it's at 20%, so you can see here in my mask, it's just a gradual change. That's the best way to do things. You want to do them like very lightly and very gradually, because you want your image to look, you want it to look natural. So doing things naturally, doing things between 10 and 20% opacity really helps with that. And then using the soft brush makes sure that everything kind of fades so you don't have any hard lines. And then I'm also going to run Brighton Mid-Tones, which is just going to give just a little bit more brightness. And then this is where you would need to kind of determine how bright this is in real life. But I think that looks good. I'm assuming this is like a soft cream color. So then the other thing I want to do is I want to make this writing pop a little bit more. So I'm going to do paint on pop. And again, I'm going to keep my brush where it's at. And I'm going to take my brush, and I'm using the bracket keys, and I'm just bringing that down, and then I'm painting over the stitching here to bring in some contrast to the lettering, which will help that lettering kind of pop out from there. And then that looks pretty good. I think it's mostly like right here, like this lettering here just doesn't pop so much. And then I'm going to just to kind of, so I did that, and then just to kind of like blend it into the rest of it, I'm going to bring my brush up a little bit more and just kind of brush over there, and then that's going to just kind of blend it into the rest of it. So you can see it was a subtle change, but it does make that lettering stitching pop a little bit more. Then the final thing I would do is run the crisp finish on this, which is just going to crisp up the edges. And it kind of, and that even helped kind of crisp up the stitching and stuff too. So just to show you kind of the before and after, we'll go ahead and I'll just group this up here. And so here was the before and here's the after. So I hope that helps.